do I have your permission to potong botak? Macam I cannot imagine a man asking permission for a wife. So asal lah, why is this macam, isn't this like a one-way street where a woman has to ask permission from a man? Not just for gunting rambut lah, for generally anything. Macam like for example, isteri nak kena minta izin suami untuk keluar rumah.
Yeah.
But suami technically tak minta izin isteri keluar rumah. Like
I mean,
informs.
it will be good if the husband informs his whereabouts.
Yeah lah, but informing is not the same as seeking permission. Right? So don't you think this is a bit one-sided?
Yalah.
Okay, first of all, what does religious guidance teach us about this? It's okay, I'm sure people will not agree, but the truth is the truth. And
the truth is the truth lah. No matter how unhappy we women are with the hukum, but the hukum is there. You know, macam Allah has set certain rules for a reason.
But why would you all be unhappy?
Because it's a one-way street. Because macam kita as women kan, kita memang suami is number one. Macam kita memang kena minta izin suami kalau nak buat apa-apa. So that's why macam my tizaz in madrasah, even like when we were so young, back then 15, 16 years old, dia selalu tekankan finding a good man with a good heart is very, very, very important, because if you get a very not understanding man, it will make your life suffer. Because imagine kalau dia tak kasi you pergi buat ni, buat tu, and be very unreasonable kan, then susah untuk you.
So in other words, find a man who is easy to obey?
Yeah. Kalau you dapat a man yang tak reasonable, yang tak understanding, then it will even make your journey to Jannah harder.
Okay.
Because it's an ujian for you to obey this kind of man.
So obedience is not in consideration of the decision-making ability of the man.
Yeah.
Basically, if you chose this man,
correct.
you have to obey.
Correct.
So if you chose a man who, let's say doesn't make good decisions, and he has certain rules that you have to follow, and you don't agree, you still have to obey.
Yeah, correct. And there's a berkat in obeying even though the man is merepek. Of course, macam kalau dia suruh you buka tudung, that one is langgar Islam kan. Allah still number one. So that one you cannot obey lah.
Okay.
So there's also a limit to how much you can obey with husbands.
Okay, but then this I think a bit subjective lah. Macam okay, buka tudung is quite clear. Let's say suami suruh buka tudung, and you say no, cannot, because this is langgar Islam.
Langgar Islam.
Because this is wajib for me. You cannot ask me to do that. So disobedience is warranted.
But lain semua you can obey. Yeah, as in lain yang tak langgar Islam.
Some things are clear cut that is wrong. There are other things that are not so clear cut lah.
Like what?
Macam let's say you want to, let's just give an example lah. Let's say your sister lah is in a difficult situation, okay, and you want to go and advise her. You want to go to her house and talk to her, counsel her, make her feel better. But the husband wants you to stay at home. So in this case, you can argue that no, in Islam I'm supposed to help a fellow sister to the best of my ability. So if you prevent me, you're preventing me from discharging my duty as a sister, as a Muslim sister. So wait. So what I'm saying is, so how does anyone decide what is?
No, in this kind of situation, husband still number one. No matter what the situation. Kira that kind of situation, okay, you have your obligation to a sister and to a husband, but obligation to a husband number one, it supersedes everything. So itu yang susahnya. So kalau you dapat man yang macam itu, yang unreasonable, macam kakak Aina in a difficult situation, dia tak kasi I pergi, susah. It's an ujian lah for both men and women. It's an ujian for you as a man to be reasonable, because kalau you unreasonable, you will be accountable also. Allah will question you also. And it's an ujian for me to obey, as a woman to obey. No matter how hard and how unreasonable it is, I still have to obey. Macam I as a woman, I can reason out, I can suggest things, I can, tapi ultimately the final decision is still with you, on you. Okay, so maybe I share this hadith lah. Okay, so basically kan, this woman, she was told by her husband to stay at home.
This was zaman Rasulullah SAW?
Of course lah, zaman Rasulullah. It's a hadith.
Okay, fine.
Bila he was away tu, the woman punya father sakit.
Okay, so his wife was at home found out that her father was ill.
Yeah, so the father was very ill, right? Then the lady went to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Rasulullah, my father is sick.
Okay.
So is it okay if I visit him? But
Okay.
because my husband doesn't allow me to go out of the city or something like that. So
Does it allow me to leave the house ke?
leave the house.
Okay.
Okay. And then after that Rasulullah said, listen to your husband.
Wait. But in that case, reasonable ke? Like, and he tells his wife, you stay at home. You don't go anywhere until I come back.
Okay.
Is that reasonable to be doing that? Okay lah, whatever his reasons are, let's say it is lah. So the husband said, no matter what, you just stay in this city.
Just stay lah. After some time, then her father fell even more sick.
Okay.
So she went again to Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Ya Rasulullah, my father gets even more sick. He's critical and everything semua. So is it okay if I go, even though my husband said stay at home? And then after that, Rasulullah said, listen to your husband. Okay. So the third time, the father died. Okay.
Wait, hang on. But when the father is sick, isn't it an obligation to go and visit?
Okay, here's the thing.
Okay.
That's bila I dengar this hadith pun, I had this this apa? Thinking also. So, and Rasulullah being the prophet, he can actually overrule the husband. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
so he can actually because he is there in a situation, so he can actually override the husband punya.
Oh,
you
so
know?
Rasulullah SAW could have told a woman,
Yeah.
it's okay, your husband's not here.
Yeah, but I'm the prophet. I can, you know,
On his behalf, I can give the permission
correct.
for you to go and see your
correct.
dying
But
father.
why he didn't is because he sees the bigger picture. Because
Okay.
when the father died, and then the woman went to Rasulullah again and asked, can I visit my father? You know, macam, and then after that, Rasulullah said, no. You stay at home, you listen to your husband. So, and then Rasulullah SAW came to her with a bushra. What's a bushra? It's a good news. So he said that your father has passed, kan? Tapi because of you listening to your husband and being patient with that, Allah has forgiven all your father's sins.
Okay.
So macam as a prophet, you know that this is the greater good for the father. If she had gone out and visit the father, mungkin the father wouldn't get this kind of reward for having a pious and righteous daughter, kan?
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So of course that is by far a greater victory than,
Yes,
and it's a small price to pay to not be able to see your dying father
correct.
for this greater reward where all his sins are forgiven.
This hadith was shared by Hubaba a few years ago, and when I first heard this hadith, I was like, really? Tak baiknya. I mean, like, macam I cannot imagine doing that to my father.
Yalah,
And then-
pasal you tak boleh nampak the greater good.
Yalah, that's Allah sallallahu alaihi wasallam, dia can see the greater good yang mungkin orang yang kurang iman macam kita ni fail to see. Yalah, I understand also why he did what he did. But interestingly, there's also another hadith.
Okay, wait. Just to wrap up this hadith first.
Okay.
So the lesson that we take from here is that there's a lot of good lah in just listening to the husband, in obeying the husband, even though circumstances may be quite dire. Okay, but you said there's another hadith.
Okay, wait. Actually, kan, I think the husband is also a reasonable man lah.
Okay.
Because he's I believe lah. I believe macam kalau she would that time ada WhatsApp ke apa, she would have texted. I believe the husband would have allowed.
Okay.
Just that because he was away for a long time.
So kira-kira you're saying this pasal you know that there could be husbands out there who abuse the authority, right?
Yeah.
Who said no matter what you must listen to me because you know there's this hadith
Of
gini.
course, ada banyak.
But I mean, yalah, in the first place you have to be reasonable. Not just that. I think husbands also have to be accountable.
Yeah, correct.
That having power and authority
Yeah.
and having your permission sought before your wife makes a decision is not just a good thing.
Yeah.
Right? You cannot see power and authority as a good thing because with it comes a lot of accountability.
Correct.
And you got to be sure that you're making the right decision. You
Yeah.
cannot be unreasonable.
Yeah.
You have to know that
Because-
there are consequences to your
Macam for me,
decisions.
I saw a lot of terrible men lah. That's why macam when I heard this hadith, wah, this hadith kalau it went to the wrong man, they would easily use this hadith to macam justify whatever that they are doing to the wife. Macam okay, they own the wife, they want to, you know. So that's why macam I had my thoughts also lah, my second thoughts when I want to share this hadith. But then I think it will still be beneficial for the woman lah. Cuma macam yalah, with great, like you said just now, with great power comes great responsibility. Bila dia unreasonable macam tu, dia kurung isteri dia without reason, tak kasi jumpa dia punya parents kan, don't you think you will be questioned?
Yalah,
Yang macam this case is different tau. It's totally different. The husband is out. So macam if she could WhatsApp, it could be, I mean the husband might allow, we don't know. Kan? Okay, anyway, it's very interesting because there's another hadith.
Okay.
Same situation.
Okay.
Okay? But maybe different context lah. Maybe
Okay.
So it's also the same. The husband tak kasi the wife keluar rumah.
Okay.
And then the father was sick. And then she went to Rasulullah SAW. Ya Rasulullah, my husband didn't allow me. Then I want to go to visit my father. Then Rasulullah said, go and visit your father.
Oh. Okay.
Instead of listening to your husband.
Okay.
So two different hadith, similar situation,
Okay.
maybe different context, but different answers.
Okay, different answers, different outcomes as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's why I say macam listening to husband pun mungkin ada limit dia.
Okay.
So macam for yang the first hadith kan, maybe Rasulullah SAW see the greater good in it, and macam it's not maybe because it's not from an abusive punya relationship ke apa,
Okay.
the husband is a good man ke apa. But the second one maybe the husband is abusive, maybe macam just abuse his authority, just like unreasonably tak nak allow.
No lah, this one you cannot say lah, you don't know lah.
That's why I say maybe we don't know. So macam I still don't know lah, why is there different answers for two similar situations.
No, but the fact, the common theme that we see here is that there is a concept of husband's permission.
Yeah, correct.
It's just whether or not the permission has to be sought. And if it is not possible for some reason to seek the permission, then you may or may not disobey depending on the context.
Yeah.
Right? But there is still this element of having to seek permission.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, it might seem to make Islam very macam like a patriarchal kind of religion in that sense lah, because why is it that the woman must seek permission from the husband but not the other way around lah?
Correct.
Yeah, I think some people might think of it as that lah, but I think if you look at the greater dimension of this, we tend to see power as a good thing, having power, and that's a good thing lah. But I think it goes back to this, you forget lah that with power comes accountability.
Yeah.
And just because men are put in the role of the head of the family doesn't mean that they win lah. Doesn't mean that it's a good thing,
correct.
because they still have to undertake
Answer.
the kind of responsibilities that come with having such power.
No, and also they will be questioned. Macam kita as women, kita just listen to husband kan. That is our ujian. But
Okay.
then we won't be questioned for any decision making in the family.
Oh, okay.
You know? So macam let's say there's a company kan, there's a CEO, there's a assistant, secretary, the staff, ada director kan. So macam whatever that happens inside the company, the CEO is the one that is questioned, not the staff. Walaupun the staff yang masalah kan, but the CEO is the one yang making the final decision. Yang lain semua boleh kasih suggestions, but the CEO is the one yang making the final decision.
The CEO has to consider the opinions of people, but he has to decide ultimately. Then macam, okay wait, so because I'm quite there's a bit of confusion here lah. Because on one hand, there are people, maybe even Islamic leaders, who say that in marriage is a partnership, so both of you must come to the decision together. Which might not always be possible lah, I think, right? I mean,
Which Islamic leader is this?
I don't want to mention names lah, once again.
Okay.
But I've heard.
Because I've not heard any
Ada.
scholar.
Ada.
No, scholar.
Scholar tak lah.
Scholar.
I mean,
It
I'm
has
talking
to be a
about-
scholar. It cannot be some, normal asatiza or what.
Okay, hang on. So basically there's this idea that and they even quote hadith. They even quote hadith to justify this. They said, marriage is a partnership. Okay, so if there is a decision to be made, husband and wife must come to the decision together. So I asked back at these people lah.
You ask back.
I asked back. I had a meeting with them. So I asked like, let's say lah, I asked him, if the husband wants to put the daughter in a madrasah, tapi the wife wants to put in a secular stream, let's say lah, and both have their own pros and cons, and they cannot come to a decision, who makes the final decision?
Wow.
So you know what's the answer tak?
What's the answer?
I said, oh no, you'll have to come to the decision together.
How?
That's why I asked them, so how? Macam, you know, this is a very common scenario where two different individuals have their own beliefs in two different things, right? And each belief is valid and there are pros and cons. So somebody has to take the final decision to enroll the child in whether a madrasah or a secular stream lah. So, and it's quite disappointing to hear the response. They said, no matter what, you can come to a decision if you know how to persuade your wife. And likewise, the wife also can persuade the husband. I'm thinking, no lah, this doesn't work I mean, even in a company kan, macam you cannot have two CEOs.
Yeah, you cannot.
Right?
It will crumble.
Yeah, so if you want to run a functioning family,
Yeah.
somebody has to take the final decision,
correct.
but the final decision maker must consider the opinions of everyone else. And it would not be a patriarchal society to say this, because it only becomes patriarchal if you see that making the final decision can only be a good thing. Kan?
Yeah.
When I see it as, if I'm making the final decision, I better be sure that I'm making the right decision.
Because you are going to be questioned.
Because we're going to be questioned lah.
Yeah. Are you fair?
so
Or
macam
like,
mana?
have you
Macam-
listened to?
So I'm quite perturbed that.
No, you know
betul.
what's the problem? The problem is not many men are real men. Not many men can
You
be
cannot say
leaders.
that lah.
No, seriously.
I know a lot of real men.
Well, good for you, but I don't know a lot of real men. Okay, so kan, I think the problem is not many men can be leaders, and that's why the woman has to step up. Okay, you see, it's very
Very complicated,
challenging. No, it's very challenging if you marry someone who is less smart than you.
You're speaking from.
I'm not speaking
close
from my
friends.
experience because you're smart, alhamdulillah.
No, as in you're speaking from a close friend's experience or what?
Yeah lah, as in like my
Okay. Circles
circles lah. Macam it's very, very, very challenging if you marry someone with no common sense, with no intelligence in decision making. Diorang tak assess, situations, not fair. It's very challenging. And macam, because we as mothers, we want the best for our children. And macam, if you get a less smart guy to make the decision, he will make all sorts of nonsense
and then you have no choice
decisions.
but to follow.
And we have no choice to follow, and it will be detrimental for the child. Macam, and I feel that's a challenge.
Then what's the solution for this?
Marry a real man.
No lah, you
No,
cannot.
tapi that's why asatizah kita kat sekolah selalu pesan kita future wives ni, InshaAllah that time, dia cakap macam, if you want to marry, please have these hard conversations. Marry a good man, marry a smart man, and a reasonable and understanding man, because kalau tak, your whole life will suffer.
Okay.
So macam it's not just macam happy, suka cintan-cintun, pergi dating sana sini, lepas tu kahwin. It's not like that. You have to have all the hard questions before marriage. Kalau you boleh like interview dia, macam kalau dia uncomfortable with all your questions pun, tanya je. Because it's very important. It can save marriages, it can save children. And I think it's I think the sad thing is a lot of men susah nak jadi men, like proper men. A lot of men still play games at night. Habis tak tolong the woman.
Why are you judging people who play games at night? Okay,
I mean, kalau dia play games tapi dia still fulfill dia punya responsibility as a father can.
Okay.
Tapi kalau dia play games larut malam sampai dia neglect dia punya responsibility, that's not right.
Okay.
Kalau dia lepak sampai malam-malam kat luar semua, it's not right lah. Where's the road?
Okay lah, but we're talking
Children
about.
need
Hang
fathers.
on. I need to bring you back to the topic.
Okay,
We're talking
fine.
about decision making as a leader of the household.
Yeah, I know.
Okay.
I'm saying women, I believe a lot of women, diorang suka to be led by someone who can lead. But when the problem
But
is
someone who can lead lah.
yeah.
Okay.
So when the problem is when the man cannot lead, there's a problem. Macam susah kita nak obey. That's why women jadi gitu. Macam
No lah, but
they have to step up, they have to voice out, they argue and everything semua lah.
no lah, but you also have to be fair, because in today's societies, the environment is as such where I think a lot of authority is taken away from the men. Right?
That's also another problem.
And diorang tak ada kebiasaan untuk exercise their authority as a leader.
Correct.
Right? The environment and situations are not there for them to practice this leadership role.
What do you mean the environments are not there?
No, because increasingly society is very, very inclined towards equality. No such thing as the husband is the head of the family, right? Because everything should be equal now. So macam the opportunity for men to exercise their leadership roles is diminishing, right? So inevitably, because there is a diminished role, they do not have the experience
I see.
to carry out and fulfill their leadership qualities. You see, so in a way, it's a snowball effect, lah. Right? So because the opportunity is not there, they don't become good leaders, and then because they don't become good leaders, their leadership roles are removed, and it becomes a positive feedback kind of thing.
Yeah, that's true. Oh, I want to share a story about this old couple. Okay, so there's this old couple, kan?
Okay.
Which I really look up to. Diorang quite religious lah. Okay. The wife is she is more intellectually capable lah.
Okay.
Than the husband. She knows that for a fact.
Okay.
Kan? So I think many years ago.
Then why did she marry this man?
I don't know
Okay, so
dah jodoh. Okay, so anyway, many years ago, I think I don't know lah how many years ago, maybe 20-30 years ago, they were deciding whether to put their daughter in a madrasah or secular. Okay. So the wife wants madrasah lah.
Okay.
Then the husband wants secular.
Okay.
So knowing that she always assess things better than the husband,
so she knows she makes the better
yes, knowing that she is intellectually capable, after discussing and after trying to persuade her husband, she still failed, right?
Okay.
So she still gives in to she knows her responsibility as a wife, and she knows that there's a lot of barakah in obeying the husband. So she just gave in, and she just okay lah, tak apa. And then she just let the husband decide, have the final say, which is hantar anak to secular.
Okay, that means the husband mati-mati wanted to send the daughter to the secular stream. The wife wanted the madrasah stream. And the wife macam she knows herself to actually be a better decision maker than the husband. She knows this for a fact.
She's correct most of the time. This is the kind of woman lah. Macam she's always correct most of the time. But even then, she still understands the barakah in listening to husband, because there's a hadith on this kan, about listening to husband. There's a lot of hadith on this. So she listens to the husband, and many years later, even though the daughter is being put in secular, maybe because of her noble intention, and maybe because of her obeying to the husband too, the daughter became a scholar.
Became a religious scholar.
Tak tahu macam mana. But she made it lah. So macam sometimes this mother, sometimes she was also thinking macam, how did my daughter became a religious scholar? But then because and when she reflects back, maybe because it's her niat and her obeying to the husband, even though she knows she is intellectually capable at that time.
Kira kan dia bertawakal lah. She just trusted that, okay, you know what, I know the best decision was to put this daughter into a madrasah, as in at least based on what I assess. But I'm just going to let my husband decide, because he is the head of the household.
Maybe certain things kan, you might not see it now tau. You might think that it's unreasonable, I'm more smarter than my husband, I'm more capable than my husband. Tapi macam you might not see it now, but in many years later, there is wisdom, there is hikmah, there is barakah when you obey and listen to your husband. So this is her advice also lah to me. Then when I heard that story, I'm macam masya-Allah lah. Yeah. So yeah lah. So I take that as something, as a really good and deep wisdom to hold on to always listen to husband, even though sometimes I failed. Yeah. So we try lah. We women, we try.
So kan back to this story about this lady who asked her husband whether she can for permission to cut her hair slightly shorter. So that means she also probably believes that there's wisdom in asking for the husband's permission, and even though she may not like her shorter hair or whatever, she still thinks that the right thing to do is to seek permission.
You know, and minta wait. Tapi kan, I think kan benda minta izin suami ni kan is really something yang tak how to say, dah tak ada orang. Okay, mungkin Malaysians, they still hold on to this tau. But I think macam, I don't know, like kita kat sini kan, I feel macam bila I nak cakap, I nak minta izin suami kan, I felt ashamed. Macam I felt being judged. Macam asal nak minta izin dia? Macam tu.
Oh, really? Your friends?
As in,
siapa your friends yang cakap ni semua?
Tak, as in macam maksudnya my friends pun baik lah, Alhamdulillah. Cuma macam there are certain people yang macam I felt like being judged if I do that. So sometimes I will give other excuses and not say that I want to ask your permission first lah.
I see.
If you grow up and you biasa obeying your parents,
okay,
it will be easier for you, InshaAllah, to obey your husband.
Okay. Okay, so just to summarize so there's this idea in Islam of a wife obeying the husband and the wife having to seek permission where necessary. So in the particular example that I shared, this lady wanted to cut her hair short, but she asked her husband's permission first, and that would have been the right thing to do. Okay. However,
wait, no lah, you cannot say like that lah.
No lah, seeking permission is the right thing to do lah.
I know, but like macam some husbands might find this annoying and no need to seek permission from him, what?
Yeah lah, but I'm not talking about the husband punya perception. I'm talking about what is right for the wife to do lah kan.
Okay.
So just to clarify this.
Okay.
However, we cannot see this as macam just a one-way thing. It would look like a one-way thing, but you have to see it from the perspective of when your permission is being sought. You cannot think of it as it's a good thing for me because you need my permission. You have to see it from the perspective of if I give this permission or if I don't give the permission, I am making a decision and I'm going to be accountable to Allah for my decisions.
Men, you all need to hear this, okay? All men need to hear this.
Pasal apa?
Yalah, when you are giving permission, it's not like oh, I have authority.
Not just giving. When you are giving or when you are withholding permission,
correct.
It's because you have to be mindful lah that whatever decision you make, you are the one who's going to be accountable for this.
Tapi a lot of men, dorang just ambil yang oh, I have the authority. Tapi dorang tak.
You cannot say a lot of men lah. Ramai men dah kenal baik-baik sih.
Your circle lah.
Okay, tak apa. This episode is brought to you by
not my circle. Okay, so anyway, this episode is brought to you by Emerald Law LLC.
With Emerald Law, you get skilled advocacy and practical solutions.
Contact them for any legal matters.
Okay, next
See you
time.
soon.
Bye-bye.